What's going on, everyone? I'm just your average, everyday, atypical Canadian nerd here to react to your everyday, typical American man. Yeah, I messed that up, but that's okay. I'm just going to keep rolling with it. Hope you don't mind. And he is here to react to and learn about Halloween and how it's different between our two countries, Canada and the United States. Now, I have never spent a Halloween in the United States, but I have spent every Halloween here in Canada, and things have changed over the last 30 years. But probably not that much. So, if anything, I'm just here to add a little context to the Canadian side of things, maybe to answer any questions he has, and just to give a little extra information that the video he's about to watch does not get into detail about. Probably. I'm guessing because I haven't seen this video yet. That's the whole point, right? It's a reaction, a live reaction, like react for the first time you saw it. Like, that's the whole thing here, which I just think is fun and funny, and I'm glad there are some people out there that enjoy learning about Canada a little bit more through my shared point of view. Of course, I am doing this because I like Tyler's channel. It's Tyler Bucket. There's a link in the description. Go watch or subscribe or something, because he comes out with videos every day, and I sure don't. I'm just doing this for fun. And now, for a select few people that really enjoy whatever it is I'm doing. And I hope you enjoy as well. If you do, go ahead, comment, like, and subscribe. And, well, that's enough preamble, I guess. Let's get this picture out of the way and get this video started.
What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about Halloween in Canada versus America. You know, Americans, I don't like to brag, or do I? Americans take Halloween pretty serious. We take a little bit of pride in our Halloween. We dress up, we scare people, we act weird. And I'm a little interested to see what's Halloween like in Canada. You know, after the video I made not too long ago about Thanksgiving in Canada versus America, I don't assume anything anymore. Maybe Canada invented a Halloween. I don't know. I'm not assuming anything anymore.
No, we definitely didn't. We just hopped on the bandwagon. We enjoy it. And as far as American media portrays Halloween, we take it about the same. Of course, it's a little hard to be exactly the same because, you know, Texas, warm, Canada, cold. So typically when I was young, Halloween involved putting your costume on over top of your winter coat because, yeah, it was probably going to snow.
But it's actually kind of hard to find videos on this topic. There's not too many videos on Halloween in Canada. You know, if you type that in, try to look for it. So that has me thinking Halloween is probably pretty similar in Canada and the United States. I really don't know what major differences there could be.
I'm not sure either, except what I just mentioned about wearing your snowsuit under your costume, which really makes it not so scary or good of a costume a lot of the time. Hey, we're about to learn some more.
But I wouldn't mind being surprised. So, with that being said, let's take a look. Celebrate Halloween like a Canadian. Let's. Why not?
This week I wanted to be relevant and talk about Halloween. Originally I wanted to talk about English Halloween.
Yeah, I missed that relevance boat, didn't I? And that's totally cool. Maybe if I'd have thought about it a little more, I wouldn't have gone into that haunted house. I would have been still making videos around Halloween time, and maybe, just maybe, I would have postponed doing this one until actual Halloween, but nope, that's not the way that happened.
Since this is what my channel is about, England, you know, if you didn't know, now you know. But then I realized like 90% of the people that watch this channel are English. So, I don't know why. That's cool. Like, I just thought it would be boring, but, you know, hey, welcome.
Likewise, I did not expect an international audience, so thank you and welcome. I did not expect an American audience. I did not expect a Canadian audience. To be perfectly frank, I didn't expect an audience.
Instead, I wanted to share with you guys how to celebrate Halloween like a Canadian. So without...
Okay, so I know she is Canadian, moved to England, lives in England, maybe now, maybe not. But for the purposes of this video, it's talking about Halloween from her Canadian perspective, which is just perfect for me.
And, interesting thing is that Halloween is totally not allowed in China. The Chinese Communist Party kind of arrests people for dressing up on Halloween because China first.
Simple American trying to learn about Canada.
Without further ado, let's go. From what I can tell, this is just a generalization. Halloween is not that popular in England. I think it's getting more popular, but like in Canada, it is probably one of our most favorite holidays. Next to Christmas is Halloween. Everybody loves Halloween.
Oh, okay.
Halloween decorations often outpace the Christmas decorations around here. And I don't understand why. Living where I currently live for several years in a row now, no kids have come to our front door on Halloween. But that's probably because it's a busy street.
Canada? Okay. Huh. I mean, what is the second most beloved holiday? Christmas is number one. Make no mistake about that. Totally agree. In America, Christmas is number one.
I'm gonna guess number 2 would be Thanksgiving because of the superb owl.
Like Canada. Number 2? Sheesh. Maybe it is Halloween. Canada and America are pretty similar in that respect. We love our Christmas. We love our Halloween. Okay.
We go nuts. We go over the top. It's very intense. And so here are my top tips to help you celebrate Halloween like a Canadian. Okay. You need to think of your Halloween costume about a year in advance. You want something relevant, maybe funny, something topical, but you need to give yourself a good year to get your idea sorted.
Well, that's one opinion for sure. I have classically waited until the last minute. On that note, it's a week until Christmas, and I haven't done any Christmas shopping. Oh well, bah humbug.
Okay, I don't know if she's kind of being funny here, and maybe with a sliver of seriousness as well. Maybe. I mean, some costumes are so elaborate it might take you a year to figure out all the mechanics of how your Demogorgon Stranger Things mouth is gonna open with your little pulley system if you're engineering a costume. But as for coming up with a concept, I don't know. That's pretty serious. Maybe Canada does take it more serious than America.
And not in my experience, but I'm just one man.
I don't know if I'm ready to relinquish that quite yet.
After you think up your Halloween costume, you need to make your costume. So you can either do the homemade or the store-bought or some sort of hybrid in between.
I like to do the hybrid where I design my own costume in my head. I start assembling the pieces I already have. I go to thrift stores and I try and buy things that match. And then the costume doesn't end up looking anything like the idea that was in my head.
Okay, this is sounding a lot like Halloween in America, which is good. I understand so far. And I guess it should be said, Halloween looks very different depending on if you are a child, depending on if you are a young adult, and if you're a parent with a child, maybe, or, any combination of that. Yeah. Halloween is going to look really different. It's going to change how serious you take it, how you dress, if you're what you're going for. So that's something to consider as well. I'm sure Canadians are the same.
On that note, for those who are not familiar with Halloween traditions, the children will dress up in costumes, go door to door, knocking on the door, say trick or treat, expect to be given some sort of candy or treat. The young adults will dress up often promiscuously and go to parties with other young adults where they will try and engage in fornication. Typically. Depending on physical attributes. It could just be a party, or it could be doing absolutely nothing and staying at home by yourself, avoiding anyone who comes to the door. And as a full-grown adult with children of your own, you're either going out with the children to take them door to door so they can get their candy from strangers. Yes, taking candy from strangers. And, or they would be at home distributing the candy to the strange children who come to the door.
We have a special place called Value Village. Shout out to Value Village. I miss you.
Wait.
That's our thrift store that I was referring to. Me being somewhat of a highbrow, because I don't know, it can go pretty high. I like to refer to Value Village as Value Village.
Value Village?
We have a spot or some sort of hybrid in between. In Canada, we have a special place called Value Village. Shout out to Value Village. I miss you. Value Village is a charity shop or a thrift store.
Not a charity. It is a thrift store.
Throughout the year, you can just buy clothes and like knick-knacky stuff from them anyways, and they're like really, really cheap.
Oh, it's a thrift shop like Goodwill or the Salvation Army.
Yeah.
I thought
Except Goodwill and Salvation Army, they feed back to the community. They often do charity work. Value Village is a for-profit industry.
it was like Party City, like a costume store. She's really leaning into the homemade costume. I think a lot of Americans get a little lazy. They I've been known to show up to Walmart and buy one of the $5 costumes, which does not include much. You might be a ghost, but it's very quick and easy, gets the point across. Yeah. Certainly there's people who make their costumes and those who purchase. Sounds like we're talking about making a costume, but people take it in various degrees of seriousness.
Growing up, people would often just buy a mask, put that on, and say, it's Halloween. Me and my friends, we would put some time into making a costume. More accurately, we would have our parents help design and make a costume that fit what we had in mind, which was usually a very, very budget version of something real, like a Ninja Turtle, for example. My late friend JJ, he loved to dress up as a knight from King Arthur's court, or a character from Lord of the Rings. This is before the movies. May he rest in peace.
In America and Canada.
But right around Halloween and sort of like, honestly, 3 months prior, they go crazy with Halloween costumes. So what I used to do was buy like pieces of clothing from like their clothing section and then buy like fake blood from their Halloween section, maybe a hat or a wig or some like plastic weapon, so you can kind of like piece your stuff together. Now just bear in mind, when you go trick-or-treating in Canada, you quite possibly are going to do it in the snow. That is a reality that we have to live with. So,
in recent years, it has not snowed on Halloween. When I was young, it would consistently snow for the first time in the year every Halloween. Well, the first time in the season anyways, because technically the year starts when it's winter and it still snows when it's...
So when you're buying your costume, buy it a little bit big.
Okay, that's like the first difference so far that's been serious. Having to trick-or-treat in the snow. Thankfully, that almost never happens in the United States, although it can rain. It can be very cold by that time in October. It can get cold, although it just turns out that this year, right now, it's not very cold, which is nice. It's about to be Halloween, and it's not cold, so that's nice. But, is it already snowing in Canada now?
Depends on the year. And the year that you filmed this? No. The year that I'm filming this? No. In fact, it's late December at this point, and we've had almost a little bit of snow, but North America is going through an El Nino year, which means that we're getting warmer air currents than typically expected. So I expect a very, very mild winter here in Niagara, which is also where we grow a lot of fruit, such as grapes, to make wine.
I mean, the American Canadian propaganda would have me believe that it's permanently snowing in Canada. It never stops. So,
well, yes, and that depends on where in Canada you live, because the further north and the closer to the coasts, the more likely you are going to get snow. Also, well, I guess Saskatchewan's pretty far north compared to where I am right now. So, yeah, that's further north. I get a lot of snow. Manitoba, a lot of snow. Yeah, the territories that are all the way up north, a lot of snow. Yeah, we got a lot of snow.
I know that's not quite true. But trick-or-treating in the snow, that would definitely make things uncomfortable. And you have to factor that into your costume, I guess.
Big, so you can fit your snowsuit on underneath.
Oh.
Now, my mom was probably the queen of Halloween costume maker. She made me something crazy, just like crazy stuff. I'm talking, one year I was a mad scientist, and she made me this like lab coat with like eyeballs and rats and spiders on it.
One year I wanted to be a robot, so I wore a cardboard box with stuff glued onto it.
She also sewed me this hat thing that looked like an exposed brain. So although it was very cool, it was also legitimately a hat for the winter. So even when it was snowing, I had this hat on.
Yeah, well, since I'm trying to draw comparisons here, I'm trying to make this a Canada versus America comparison. That's totally stuff that an American kid would be caught wearing. A nice homemade costume.
Much like my cardboard box.
So, cool thing, Mom. Another year I was like Cleopatra, and she sewed this beautiful gold like neck piece, and she made me a skirt and this headdress that had like a little snake on it. Okay. Another year I was a dead cheerleader, so we bought clothes, I think from Valley Village, and I bought this like fake skin stuff that you put on your face and you spread it, and it looks like your skin's falling off.
That's a good tip, by the way. Cheap stuff like that with a big effect. You just buy some of that $1 or $2 makeup or goo or blood, or even now they even have prosthetics that attach to you that make a cut or a zombie thing, or just something you can throw on that's really fun and cheap like that. But makes a big difference. It makes a big difference.
And then just like fake blood. Just fake blood everywhere. Next step, buy all the candy. Just go nuts. Just assorted chocolate and chips and chewy crap. Just go wild.
This is often done the month before Halloween because around that time, stores start putting out Halloween-specific boxes of candy and treats where let's take Skittles as an example. Instead of a full bag of Skittles that has like 2 handfuls in it, you get a tiny little bag of Skittles that has like 5 maybe, and that one box comes with something like 40 bags of those tiny Skittles. It's terrible financial value, but definitely worth it when you compare to giving out gigantic bags to small children.
You're then going to need to...
Chips. Ooh. It is not... It would be a little uncommon to run into a house while trick-or-treating that gives you chips.
I would say uncommon, but it happens. And it's regular to open your bag at the end of the night and find at least 2 bags of chips. And they are small bags, like so small. They're tiny, but for a little person, they're great.
Maybe like little party-sized bag of chips, little tiny bag of chips, not individual chips. But Americans really go for the classic candies, chocolates and candies, like especially the little fun-sized Snickers, one single Reese's cup. Even though you want 2, it's only 1 because it's fun-sized, kid-sized, little tiny Kit Kat. I don't know. There's probably Canadian equivalents to a lot of this stuff.
Yes, everything you just mentioned, we totally get here. In addition, we get like small box of chocolate that's covered in candy coating. We kind of like M&Ms, but thinner. we call them Smarties. Americans call Smarties something totally different. It's kind of chalky candy that you can totally chew on, and we call those rockets.
Decorate your house. And true Canadian ways to go over...
Oh, decorating your house. Yes, yes. Very important.
You're then going to need to decorate your house. And true Canadian ways to go over the top, just go nuts. So I'm talking fake spider webs, fake blood, fake skulls along the driveway. We used to play really scary music we got from the dollar store that genuinely gives me anxiety just thinking about it.
This will really depend on where you live.
And the kind of vibe that you're looking to give. Like, setting up some bats that are hanging in the trees and a few jack-o'-lanterns is totally acceptable. Jack-o'-lantern, for those who don't know, is a pumpkin where you carve a face into it and stick a candle inside so the face glows. Of course, that's also a big risk because people will stomp on your jack-o'-lanterns.
In America. And I don't know if there's any rhyme or reason to it. There have been places that I've lived where people take Halloween very serious and the houses look incredible and there's so much effort into the scary, spooky house decorations. And then you'll find entire neighborhoods that just are not into it. They just don't put anything out. They don't dress up the house. You almost feel strange walking up for your trick-or-treating for your candy because it just looks like a normal house.
The rule when I was growing up is if the lights are off, don't go to the door. Otherwise, the lights are on, there's probably a decoration, and there's going to be someone there to hand out candy. And there might even be someone who's dressed up like a scarecrow sitting on a chair on the front porch just waiting for children to come up so they can blah and scare some kids.
Or worse, they put their candy bowl on a chair in front of the front door. They don't even answer the door for you. They just put it on the chair.
Honor system. You're just supposed to take one piece of candy and move on. But invariably, there's going to be some jerk who just empties the bowl into their bag and leaves nothing for anyone else.
And hope that no one takes the whole thing. I definitely did not take the whole thing, I swear. But, yeah, this kind of depends, the house decorations. But I do enjoy them.
And I've found it has a lot to do with, let's say, the affluency of the neighborhood. In other words, where there's money, there's decorations and full-size candy bars.
It was just heartbeat noises and just... We also used to do, again, this was my mom's idea because my mom's incredible, an old pair of sweatpants of my dad's and stick two little wooden poles through them, then stuff them full of bunched up newspapers and then put shoes on the end. So we had fairly realistic looking legs, and every Halloween we'd put them someplace different. So one year we had them sticking out from the garage door, the garage door had come down on my dad.
I like that. I like that. That's scary. It's mostly that mask.
Oh, that's a classic Canadian decoration for Halloween. Absolutely. Tombstones, ghosties, witches. Yes.
What is that? Oh, do most Canadians take Halloween pretty seriously? I hope they do. When you're a child and you go to trick-or-treating, I still have memories of houses that did a great job decorating for Halloween. You remember that?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, it was maybe 1 in every 3 houses was very well decorated. This year, when I was taking walks around the neighborhood, it might have been 1 in every 5 houses. But I grew up in a very different place than where I am now, so regional, financial, yeah.
For the rest of your life. I'd remember this guy. This would terrify me.
Here we had them sticking out from the garage door, the garage door had come down on my dad. And the other time we had them sticking out of the, oh my God, I can only think of the English, the bonnet. What do you call that?
The trunk of a car.
Bonnet?
The hood.
Oh, sorry, I was confusing bonnet and boot. The boot would be the trunk and the bonnet would be the hood. Yeah, oops.
The hood of a car?
Yeah.
Bonnet.
Yeah.
I think she means the hood of a car.
Yeah.
Like he got crushed in the hood.
Right.
Okay.
And so then we'd have like the little kids coming up trick-or-treating and be like, oh, there's somebody stuck in your garage door. Like there's somebody stuck. And I'm like, yeah, you know, that's my dad. He's been out there for a few hours. I also remember going trick-or-treating and people would turn their back garden into a haunted house. So there'd be like strobe lights and people would jump out at you. And it's all just things that people have made themselves.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
This is rare. But yes, people have done that for me as well. So, I feel like I haven't gone trick-or-treating in a while. So I don't know what the people are up to these days. But yeah, there's those who take it really far. They create a little maze behind their house. Times have kind of changed in the United States where people really probably wouldn't be willing to take their kid into your backyard, into your shed, to do your little Halloween trick-or-treat house. Unfortunately, in America, we've lost a lot of trust and goodwill towards each other.
Oh, yeah. The memories that Tyler, myself, and this lady are having are from the 90s and the early 2000s, all before the 2008 recession.
In the last 20 years or whatever. So that's kind of sad. I don't know if that's true in Canada, where people would just be kind of weirded out by that now. But if you were a tight-knit neighborhood where everyone kind of knew each other, then that'd be totally cool. Little fun house.
Yeah. And it's just, you need to just go over the top. You're gonna need to carve a pumpkin. Duh. If you're like me,
yeah, carve a pumpkin. So
interestingly, before pumpkins were carved into jack-o'-lanterns, they used to carve turnips, which, if you've ever cut into a raw turnip, you can imagine would be extremely difficult.
That's the same in Canada. Well, basically, everything's the same. Let's not mince words here. From what I could tell, everything is the same between Canadian Halloween and American Halloween, except that it might be snowing when you're trick-or-treating in Canada.
Oh, that fits. That's pretty reasonable, yeah.
But thank goodness you got the pumpkins. You're carving the pumpkins in Canada, making the jack-o'-lantern, the face. Very good. That's as Halloween as it gets.
AKA a giant baby. You might get your mom to scoop out the guts. The cold, clammy, stringy pumpkin guts.
Separate the pumpkin seeds. Separate the seeds and lightly salt them, and then bake them. Delicious.
Oh, I just realized she probably is talking to her YouTube audience, and her audience is people in England who apparently don't celebrate Halloween that much. So she's explaining this to English folk who are probably like, oh, wow, this is so interesting and quaint. This is so interesting and quaint. The jack-o'-lantern carving into the pumpkin, that's a very strange Canadian tradition. That's probably what they're saying. It's exactly like that, I'm sure.
Sure.
But for my purposes, it works as well to see what's going on in Canada with Halloween.
Because that's what mums are for. You're also going to need to watch...
You heard the lady. Mums are for emptying out pumpkins.
A bunch of scary Halloween movies. They start playing them on TV basically right after like the back to school crap is over. It's Halloween immediately. For me personally,
Canada obviously has scary movies, horror movies.
Yes.
Are all of the classic American horror movies classics in Canada?
Yes. We are extremely similar neighbors.
That is... I really want to know that. Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees, Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street, Scream, Chucky, all those iconic scary movies.
Yeah.
Are those all iconic in Canada too, or are there different movies?
Yes, we have a few additional movies that just didn't make their way to the United States, but stayed here in Canada. Examples include I Have No Idea.
I would think they're pretty popular in Canada, too.
Personally, I always watch Hocus Pocus. I actually
Classic.
Okay, if we're talking about Hocus Pocus, if we're getting that obscure, then if Hocus Pocus made its way to Canada, then everything did. Okay.
watched it back in September because I was getting pumped for Halloween back in September. But just watch any of your favorite Halloween movies and just freak yourself out. Of course, you need to break out that Ouija board and traumatize yourself and your friends.
Not necessary. That sounds more like a personal experience.
A Canadian childhood is not complete until you traumatize yourself with an Ouija board
I don't think I've ever actually touched a Ouija board.
at Halloween in somebody's basement. And of course, you need to eat into a comatose state. Just as much candy and chocolate and absolute garbage that you can get your hands on. You need to eat all of it until you're just on the floor in absolute agony.
Now that is tradition. Once you've taken your haul of candy from the streets and brought it inside, you empty the bag and you sort through the candy, eating as much as you feel like in that moment. And then, of course, there's some that you don't want to eat right now. You say, I'm going to save it for later. And then you put it back in the bag or in some other container. You hide it. You forget that it exists. And then next year, when you're getting ready to go trick-or-treating, you say, oh, wow, look at all this candy from a whole year ago. Oh, was that from like 3 years ago? When did I even get that? Huh.
Yeah. Is it a thing in Canada that when I was a kid, they would try to teach kids to like check their candy for like razor blades?
Yes, or drugs or needles, which was all... there's a whole history of how none of that ever happened. So it was a big panic in the 90s, yes. But it was never anything of concern. Until marijuana gummies started making their way through Canada. And at that point, it was a ridiculous concern because with the price and the quality of those gummies, why would you want to give them away to anyone, let alone children? What a waste. No, keep them for yourself. Have a good time.
Just horrible needles. Like, they were teaching us that, you gotta be careful. There's a lot of crazy people out there who might put stuff in your candy, poison. And really, I don't know what you're going to do exactly when you're scarfing down the candy to prevent that, if someone's going to be that sick of an individual. But
so in reality, there was a razor blade candy story, but the razor blade was put in the candy by a family member and then given to the child from that family member, so it had nothing to do with trick-or-treating. And the drugs and needles, well, yes, that also happened, but guess what? Also, family members poisoning their family members.
Was that a thing in Canada? Teachers and grown-ups telling you to watch out for, like, dangerous candy? Because that was a thing in the United States. I think maybe Americans are just a little more sick, just a little more scary, and not in a good way.
Well, the mainstream media picked up on those stories, and they went wild with it, kind of fabricating their own myths to go around the story that actually happened. And as a result, yes, the American hysteria traveled its way north and became Canadian hysteria. And I'd say the worst that I ever got when I was sorting through my bag of candy at the end of the night was like a clementine orange.
And I guess you have to save some for the trick-or-treaters. What my mom used to do was she would buy extra boxes. So there'd be like a box for our family, and then the rest would be like trick-or-treaters. And when we used to go trick-or-treating, me and my best friend, we would use pillowcases.
Yes.
So you go out for like an hour, you fill the pillowcase up, you come back home, you dump the pillowcase out, and you go back out. So it's not too heavy, and you got some more.
Oh, I never got to that point.
Me neither, but that's because I grew up in a small town, right? So when I was trick-or-treating from my own home, there was one street, and there was no point in going out again because the houses were so far away from each other. And when I would trick-or-treat with my friend JJ, which was near the school in a small town, by the end of our first trip around, we were just tired and we wanted to eat candy and call an end to the night.
but I'm just saying the use of the pillowcase as a candy bucket. Classic.
Yeah.
Absolutely classic.
Space to get your chocolate. I mean, I take trick-or-treating very seriously. Of course, if you're too old to go trick-or-treating, yeah, your life is basically over. Otherwise, if you're not going to end it all, you can buy tickets to like a really overpriced Halloween dance party club type thing. You wear your costume, you get really sweaty and like makeup is like streaking off your face and stuff, but it's Halloween, so that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely in the United States, definitely grown-ups find ways to have fun on Halloween. It is not just for children. Not just for children. The trick-or-treating is, but yes. Halloween's an event, a time for Halloween parties, for full-grown adults. We love it. We dress up, go crazy. It's an excuse to get a little crazy, definitely, in America.
Yeah, and if you don't have anywhere to go, but you have a costume and you've got the spirit, just go to a local pub or bar or insert your choice here, and you're going to find other people dressed up in costumes and getting drunk and having a good time being sexy.
And finally, when you eat all that candy, you need to start thinking about your costume for next year. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Enjoy Halloween. Enjoy Halloween, definitely. And until next time, bye.
Okay. Whoa.
Hi, everyone. It's me.
Whoa.
Yep, that's the way YouTube works.
Hi, everyone.
All right, we're back.
Start
I
over.
Clicked.
Move to the next.
Start next video. Anyway, this was by Adventures and Naps. I gotta give that a like.
That's a good name for a channel. Adventures and Naps. This was a bit of an adventure. Now, I feel like taking a nap.
For sure. I liked that a lot. So, what did I learn from this video? I learned that Halloween in Canada is a lot like Halloween in America, which is the hypothesis I had from the beginning. Because there's not a lot of material on this on YouTube, which just made me think that's probably because no one thinks it's deserving of it, because it's just the same stuff going on in Canada and America, and I think that's true. I think we're all just getting a little crazy, dressing up like weirdos and having fun, and kids are eating candy. Halloween, not that complicated, but...
Big difference is the snowsuits in Canada.
I was so curious... Just to see, just in case, had to check to see if there were any big differences between Halloween in Canada, Halloween in America. Nothing that I could identify. Although I did have also here, I was looking for shorts, YouTube shorts. Okay. Trying to copy TikTok a little bit with their little shorts thing. You can search for Halloween in Canada and have these little videos pop up, which I wanted to watch a couple to see... Because they have titles like Halloween in Canada. So I was a little desperate for more Canadian Halloween content. And this is what I found. So let's take a look.
Okay.
These are going to be super random, by the way. These don't have to do with anything except Halloween. Anything could happen. I don't know.
When the days get short and nights get cold, little ghosts and ghouls know just where...
Okay. All right, so a little Halloween sing-along.
Yeah.
That got 2,000 views. Okay, Halloween in Canada. Oh, the blow-up cat. Oh, it moves. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Just a decoration.
Certainly, you see a lot of blow-up stuff in Christmas, and like giant inflatable snowmen and Santa, and cats in America too. I like that, though. How is Halloween celebrated in Canada? Part 1. Oh, perfect.
Halloween आने वाली है और मैं आपको दिखाती हूँ कनाडा में Halloween पे क्या-क्या मिलता है। सबसे पहले तो ये नकली खून for make.
Well, it's in a language I do not understand, but I will say that she seems to be in a party store and is looking at fake blood, which certainly is a thing in America. I'm just gonna compare all these to America in the best way I can. Halloween shorts, Canada. Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Oh.
We are going to have so much fun and fun playing evil characters, and we've only begun.
I like this little toy.
That is definitely emblematic of Halloween here in North America. But I'm not the greatest person to evaluate shorts. I am not neurotypical. I don't understand the way the average brain works. And most shorts and TikToks, I just think, what? What is going on? Who are these people? Why did they do this? Does this even make sense? I've been toying with the idea of watching shorts or doing reactions to TikToks from the neurodiverse perspective of, I don't understand. What was the point? What is that supposed to be? What's going on? What are they trying to say? Why does it keep using that voice and that music? I don't get it. What is happening? I don't understand. But that's just gonna be boring, I assume. Anyway, leave your thoughts below if you want to see me get confused over regular people things.
It's like the perfect amount of creepy. You could stick this on your porch, scare some little kids. You don't have to do any work.
Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me of when I was a kid and some guy dressed up in all black and a black mask and sat on his front porch and then pretended to be a stuffed guy, like he wasn't alive. But then he was. That's a good tactic. Very
classic.
Scary. Halloween in Canada be like...
Look in the mirror. Wow!
This is what Halloween in Canada's like. You just all stare at this guy, apparently. You just stare at this clown. Okay.
No.
That's one way to celebrate Halloween.
What?
Halloween in Canada looks like this girl in her little witch's outfit. Oh... What's going on here? You got, I actually like this big spider. And this, webbed little tree. I like this as far as decoration. Okay, you know...
Standard decorations. What's with the music?
But I think I'm going to end it here. At this point, I'm just shopping for Halloween decorations. But I think I really did answer my burning question of if there is any big, significant differences in how to celebrate Halloween for in Canada versus America. And I think we have our answer. It's pretty similar.
Pretty much.
I'm still not sure which nation is more hardcore. I think that is only a question that could be answered by experiencing a couple American Halloweens, maybe in some different areas, and then experiencing some Canadian Halloweens in different areas. And
as with all holidays, I believe that is a personal taste kind of thing and varies from place to place. So if you really want to know what Halloween in Canada is like, you have to live in different parts of Canada over the span of a lifetime, moving every year.
I don't know who would have that specific level of life experience to have had that happen, but that person knows which side takes it more serious. But from what I could tell, we all enjoy ourselves a little Halloween. Yeah. Anyway, if you enjoy yourself a little Halloween, then feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment. And if you're interested in more videos like this, reacting to Canada,
reacting to him,
Canadian culture,
reacting to us,
going on in Canada,
all the stuff we do
that I've never seen before,
maybe I've seen it.
Feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Yes, thank you very much for watching this Halloween-themed episode in late December, which is totally seasonally appropriate and in no way weird or strange. I hope you enjoyed. I kinda did. Kinda. A little bit. I hope you did anyways. And I guess that brings us to the French word of the day. Now, Halloween is Halloween, because we just don't pronounce the H at the beginning of a word in Quebecois French. Instead, we pronounce the H at the beginning of a word that starts with an A that does not have, like, the hair, because don't you know your hair is surrounded by hair? No. The French word would be, I don't know, let's translate ghost to fantôme. It's like phantom, but it's fantôme. And the little accent over the O indicates there used to be an S after the O. So really it's like phantasm, but instead it's fantôme.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah, the video is over. That was it. Okay, so like, thoughts? No, I don't have any. It was pretty much summed up. Anyway, that's it for me for now. Y'all just keep being awesome, eh? Bye. Yeah. So like, I should probably work on some sort of more consistent outro where I do more than just kind of say goodbye, wave, and look past my microphone to find the stop button.
Nerd Pope King.